conscientious person tries to always living on top of their game. You know, you want to be a successful person. You want to be a productive person. You want to maximize your potential. You want to be able to utilize every single moment and opportunity to its fullest, so you can live out your true purpose and your true meaning in life. But it's very difficult to live that way, to always be on top of your game. From the moment you wake up in the morning, you are subject to so many different kinds of challenges that are challenging your mood and your feelings and trying to capture you to fall prey, to fall trap, to all of the different silliness, foolishness that goes on around us, not allowing us to take control of our lives and to live them as we would like to live them in the most sensible, productive, holy way. Whether these are challenges that come from the outside, like people around us who sometimes challenge us, or things or circumstances that are going on in our life that are always bombarding us and challenging us, tempting us to react in all kinds of ways or do kinds of things that are not our best self, not being on top of our game. We're getting schlepped into situations and behaviors that are draining us, exhausting us, and taking us away from who we want to be, how we want to live. Or these are challenges from within, our own inner fears and insecurities and challenges of our thoughts and our opinions and our feelings that also threaten us all the time, not to be the best that we can all the time and to handle situations in the most optimal way. So it's really challenging every moment of the day. Now, the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says, you need to be on top of your game every moment of your day, because every moment there's a challenge, there's a battle, there's a decision to be made, and you need to always be making the right decision. You need to be reacting in a way that is healthy, that is sensible, that is holy in your thoughts, in your words, in your behaviors, that you're managing every single situation, every circumstance, every decision that comes your way in the most optimal way. Now, that's very, very hard. How can you achieve that? So first of all, the Alter Rebbe says, remember, within you is your godly soul. And your godly soul has a natural, innate love and desire and commitment to that which is right, and that which is correct, and that which is holy, and that which serves the purpose that God created you for, and that which stands up for which is right. So even if it's not always overtly, conscientiously burning, flaming up inside of you to make you passionate about these things, and even if it's a little dormant or it's a little settled and not so controlling within you, it always is there. There's always this innate, natural love for God, love for the Torah, love for that which is right. It's always within you. And so that's already the starting point, where at every moment you could be listening to and accepting its desires. At the same time, it's insufficient, because your animal soul, your bestial soul, which is flaming up with passion and excitement and attraction towards very unhealthy, inappropriate things, it's also burning within you, which is why there's this inner battle and struggle all the time. So how do you ensure that every single moment you could be listening to, receiving the orders, the instructions from your godly soul? So we need to come on to the principle of life that we discussed earlier about the power of the mind over the heart. The mind is the natural seat of the godly soul. It's the place of common sense, of wisdom, of objective awareness of what's real and what's not real, right over wrong. The heart is the natural seat of the animal soul, which just wants to impulsively, instinctually react and emote in ways that may feel good, may be pleasurable, but may not be sensible or healthy at all. So naturally, in the human being, mind controls the heart. However, in order for mind to control the heart, you need to have a grasp of your mind. You need to be in a state at all times where you are connected with your mind. You're connected with the objective awareness and sensibility of the mind. We're not always in that state. Sometimes our mind is not, and our intellectual understanding and awareness of things is not strong enough. We're not connected enough controlled enough in a way that the mind is calling the shots in our life. The heart can overtake us. Our feelings, our sense of gratification and pleasure, and all kinds of other emotional distractions sometimes get the better of us. So how do we ensure strength of mind? How can we always be so vigilant that the mind and the messages of common sense of one's wisdom and intellect can always be governing and controlling and influencing our behavior? So for that, we said earlier, but here the Alter Rebbe makes the point even stronger. Every day there needs to be an experience, and the Alter Rebbe calls it the prayer experience, prayer in a meditative state. And it could be performed in other ways, in other kinds of focused meditational moments, but prayer is obviously one of the best ways to achieve this, and it should be done first thing in the morning. So when prayer is exercised correctly, and prayer is the exercise of mind, of intellectual curiosity, introspection, thoughtful experiences where you're utilizing all the faculties of your intellect to think and explore about God and about reality and about what's important, and you understand it and you internalize it and your mind is fixated on it in a meditative way where you're processing all of these ideas in a truly introspective way, ways that can influence you because you start to believe and to own it as your own truth. So that's the experience of prayer. Now, in those moments, you could be so heightened, you could be so alert, you could be so sensitive that you have full control over everything within you. The animal soul does not present any challenge whatsoever. That's the experience of the mind, now of prayer. Now, another thing during prayers, for example, putting on tefillin. Tefillin is where you have the box, which is the words of the Torah, but the prayer of the Shema, which is the faith prayer, which describes via hafta, loving God and understanding the truth of the Torah. It's on your mind and it's on your hand next to your heart. And the message of that is also a meditation, an exercise of the control of mind over heart. So during those times, if you do it successfully, life becomes easy. You're naturally on top of your game. You're completely present to the moment, to the opportunities and the challenges of the moment. You're completely sensitive to all that. Once you end prayer, however, and you leave the house of prayer, the zone, that state, and you enter into the real world, all of that falls away, and the natural urges of the animal soul come back to you once again. However, a trace of that experience remains with you for the rest of the day. You're always influenced by that. It doesn't disappear completely. And so that experience, it may have been a 5-minute experience, a half an hour or an hour experience, whatever you're capable of. Of course, the longer and the more qualitative that experience is, the better it can influence you, which is why there's a lot of practice and training daily of how to pray properly. But you will feel the impact and the influence of that experience throughout the rest of your day, which is why it's so important to have those experiences every day, preferably at the beginning of your day. And once you have that, that will equip you to always be in a state of vigilance, to always be alert and sensitive to the mind and the control, the regulation of the mind, that it will always allow you to control the heart and behave in ways as the Beinoni should, that are always correct, that are always proper, that are always appropriate. And here the Alter Rebbe concludes the chapter with a very challenging area of life, and that is the way we engage and react to other people, especially others who have harmed us, who have challenged us, others who we dislike. So when we encounter such people, naturally, instinctually, we have all kinds of urges for unhealthy emotions of hatred, emotions of jealousy, of anger, of revenge, of bearing grudges, right? That's the way we want to treat people who have harmed us, who are not nice to us, or who we don't like, or whatever. Now, all of those feelings are sinful. What I mean sinful? They're unhealthy. They're wrong. They're incorrect. They're toxic feelings. Anger and hatred and grudges and jealousy can never achieve anything good. They're never going to truly make you feel better, meaning repair you and your feelings over being harmed by somebody else. And they're never going to truly repair a situation. And yet we're so tempted to have these feelings That's how the animal soul works. The animal soul just thinks with its heart. If it makes you feel good for now, if now I feel good that I hate this person and I lash out on anger with this person, for now I have pacified my my ill feeling. But that's not long-term in a health, that's not okay. That's not going to solve anything for you. So here we need to, again, return to the drawing board of mind-controlling heart and recognizing what is sensible, what is appropriate, what is truly healthy, what do you have to gain? How can you deal with this in a way that can A, protect you, B, possibly restore a peaceful, lovable relations with that person. So first and foremost, never to feel those negative, harmful emotions. That's the most key part of it here. And for that, you need the control of mind over heart all the time. You need to gather your senses. I need to recognize none of those unhealthy emotions are going to be good for me, good for them, good for the situation. So never hate, never be angry, never bear a grudge, never be jealous. Now that's just part of the story that the Rebbe says. That's hard enough. But once you achieve that, recognize you could be indifferent, you could be apathetic, you could walk away, you could say, I'm not going to allow myself to feel negatively and harmfully against that person. But you haven't necessarily resolved anything. You've controlled yourself for the moment, but you haven't resolved the situation or the pain within you or between you and that person. The next step, that's truly the correct way to interact, to react with that person, is a very powerful teaching here. It's very counterintuitive, but this is a key teaching of this chapter. How should you react to somebody who has harmed you, somebody who you dislike, someone who presents for you challenges in your life? The most important way is to react to them, is to win them with love. How do you defeat an enemy? Well, one way is to fight the enemy and eliminate the enemy, but that gets messy. And that's not necessarily healthy. And there could be casualties. The other way is to make peace with them, to win them over with love, and to create a peaceful relations with them once again. So the Alter Rebbe says, here we take an example of Yosef. In the past couple Torah portions, we've been learning about what happened with Yosef and his brothers. No one in history has been so badly bruised and abused cruelly by their own brothers. Yosef was about to be killed by his brothers. In the end, he was sold out by his brothers, and they told the story to their father that he's dead. He was banished from the family. Eventually, they come to Egypt because they need him. They think he's the viceroy of Egypt. They don't know that he's Yosef, and they need food because there's a hunger going on in Egypt, in Israel, all over. Yosef had every opportunity and every right to lash out at them with anger and with hatred and with revenge and to cause harm to them. He doesn't do that. Not only is there no implication, no indication in the Torah that he has harmful, sinful, inappropriate feelings towards them, but also he actually treats them beautifully, gracefully. He welcomes them into his home. It's true he gives them a bit of a tough time in the beginning because he wants to test out if they've truly done teshuvah and if they truly will never do this again. But once he exposes himself as Yosef, he brings them down. He cares for them. He provides them a place to live. He provides them plentiful to live off. He's completely loving to them. As the expression ligmol lechayavim tovat, to repay offenders with favors. Imagine you can learn from that, because when you can achieve that, which is the truly healthy, sensible way of dealing with a situation like that, you turn it around from a situation where you could have been filled with hate and filled with toxic emotions, and instead you've restored it into a peaceful relations. That is the ultimate goal. Now, of course, this teaching should not be misunderstood, where a person is harming themselves. Where, God forbid, if somebody has been cruel and harmful to you, and now to allow yourself to accept this harm, chas v'shalom, now the Rebbe is not accepting that, and you need to be protected. And there's a system of justice, and if a person has done wrong, they need to be dealt with accordingly in a way of justice. That's all true. But we're talking about your emotions here. How should you be feeling about it? So the court, or you need to be advocating that the person should receive justice, but at the same time, don't allow your heart to be plagued by this person, because then it just harms you even more. learn to protect yourself, and protect yourself not just from being harmed by that person, but protect yourself from the unhealthy feelings that this person is trying to cause to you, to be able to overcome them, to be able to control your feelings towards something healthy. And eventually, with the right effort and with the right commitment and in the right time and place, it is possible that you can once again, hopefully, restore a peaceful relation with that person. And so you've turned the situation from a very harmful, damaging one into one that is healthy, that is peaceful, and everyone stands what to gain. So that's the conclusion of this chapter. And it's not easy, and it's a challenge, but to recognize we have the responsibility to ourselves, because we only live once, and we only get every opportunity one time in our lifetime. Every moment is precious. And how do we stand guard and be on top of our game every single moment of our day, of our life, so that we are dealing with our life circumstances and reacting to those circumstances in ways that are healthy, that are productive, that are holy, that allow us to fulfill our true potential in this world, and not in ways where our heart and animal soul get the better of us, and then we lose out and we waste our abilities and waste those moments and live in unhealthy ways. God bless you. Have a great day.